Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is producer Jeffrey Cooperstein. And today we got a bunch of great Steelers content coming your way here over the next hour or so. First up, Victory Monday takeaways.
We did win yesterday.
We did win yesterday, but it's nice to have a Victory Monday again here, Coop. So today, I looked over the film earlier today. I got some takeaways to share with you guys. And guys, when I was watching it, I kind of came to the realization that Arthur Smith made a genius shift in how he called the offense this week. And I think it's brilliant. We're going to be breaking it down on the first segment of today's show. And then our second segment today, I didn't want to do preview because Cleveland hasn't played yet. They play on Monday Night Football tonight. So I didn't want to kind of jump the gun and do anything, if there's an injury or something. So we'll do preview for that game later this week. And our second segment today is going to be the most likely 2025 QB1 options for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, before we even get into that segment, I'm going to tell you number one is Russell Wilson because he absolutely balled out yesterday, and it's looking like the Steelers definitely want to bring him back. But today I got only 5 quarterbacks that I think could be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025.
Some intriguing names on that list.
Some pretty intriguing names on that list indeed there, Coop. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. We've got already 100 people filing into Steelers Talk Live here on Victory Monday. Click that thumbs up icon because it really does help out our show, guys. Tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content and that they should push this stream out to more Steelers fans across their platform. Before we get into our segments today, let's have a word from our sponsor today at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a Steelers football game at Acrisure Stadium live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch with the terrible towels flying everywhere, cold weather football. Just doesn't get any better than that in Pittsburgh. So Game Time Picks is a brand new feature from our friends at Game Time, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, guys. And what I love to do, guys, is I love to go on the Game Time app whenever I want to go to an event, whether that be an NBA basketball game, MLB baseball game, or even NFL football games here. You guys just got to go on the Game Time app, find an event you want to go see, and you select the Game Time Picks button at the top of your screen. And it's automatically going to filter through their entire database of tickets for that event to find you guys the best tickets at the best prices so you guys can get the best deals for you and your family. What I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. All-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. It's just for that first purchase. Again, create an account today and redeem code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps. It's in the bottom of your screen right now for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. So if you guys want to get on the show here and you want to get over here next to me on the show here and you want your question to be up on screen, all you guys got to do is send in a super chat. If you don't know how to super chat, you guys just select the money sign symbol right down there by the comment section and send in any amount, $1, $2, $5. We don't really care, guys. If you want to get on the show today and you got a question, you got a comment, you want to get on the show today, you guys can super chat to get on the show. And if you guys want to donate outside of super chat, we actually get to keep more of the proceeds when you donate outside of super chat. So if you guys want to send in a Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, you can find me at Jack_Sperry on Venmo, money sign Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. You guys can take a screenshot of your screen right now if you're watching us on mobile, so you always know where to find us on all the different financial apps. And guys, YouTube takes 30% of every single super chat that you guys send in. So if you send in like a 20 or a 50 or something like that,
if you do it on iPhone, it's another 10.
And if you put it on iPhone, it's another 10%. So we only keep 60% of those dollars that come in. But with Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, we can keep a larger percentage of that. So if you want to send in a donation today, this is where you can find us. Want to give a big shout out here to our Black Diamond members. These are the people that have put in $500 or more on a singular Steelers Talk live stream. Coop's going to roll through all the beautiful pictures that we've got there. F. Sperry in the chat, still haven't gotten to all of them here yet. I will really try to knock out the rest of them here this week or this weekend here. But big shout out to all of our Black Diamonds. And guys, a lot of these get donated by guys like Platinum666, Kurgan Cold, and we pick the people we feel are most deserving of Black Diamond memberships whenever they end up donating those stickers. So if you guys want a chance to become a Black Diamond in the future, watch all of our live shows, click that subscribe button, make sure you're hyping each other up in the chat, all that great stuff for your chance to be a Steelers Talk Black Diamond in the future.
And also, I want to shout out Captain Ford Guns and Troy Obuga, our newest Black Diamonds.
Yes, Captain Ford Guns and Troy Abuga, you guys are our new Black Diamonds. We'll make sure you guys get into the graphics here moving forward, and we'll get you guys your sticker. Did you add them to the
I added them. I just didn't have the background, so that's me.
Perfect. That's all good.
One thing, I think we need to talk about two things before we get started here.
Okay.
Number one, the exchange between Broderick Jones and Mike Tomlin.
I mean, I can't.
Tomlin actually hates Hard Knocks and does not want to be a part of it.
No, he does not. But he does what he's told. And he does the bare minimum, right?
That's why he is well compensated.
Yeah, that is why he is well compensated. He likes to keep distractions out. And Broderick's reaction to him being mic'd up was just awesome, man. And then Tomlin's reaction was even funnier. So good stuff there. What was the other thing you wanted to talk about there, Coop?
Tomlin dancing with Najee. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, and then Najee went live after the game, and Tomlin was dancing around, and then I think it was Filipponi yesterday. He was praising Tomlin for getting with the new culture of his players. It's like, bro, you said this team should have fired him last week. Why are you praising him?
Filipponi also put out fake news and said that was the most they had scored under Tomlin, and that just wasn't true.
Yeah. I mean, are we
bad day for him?
Are we surprised though, Coop? Are we surprised?
Bad day.
Are we surprised by that guy? I'm certainly not. If you guys want to shout out on the show here, who's all here? Spam those me's in the chat. We've got Goffy Ball, got Jared Smith, Zachary Showers, Braden Pulled Simonson.
Braden says, "What happened to Coop?" You tell me, brother. I don't know.
I don't know what happened to Coop. I mean, he's right here. We got Truth Pigeon in here. We got Little Slush, Hot Rod 24. What's up, Hot Rod? Good to see you. We got Jack Pickett. Zachary Stevens, we've got Tristan White, Brock Walker's here. What's up, Brock? Good to see you, my friend. Got Carlos Barriga. We got Dr. Plopper. We got Robert Locke. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. We've got Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. We've got Dylan Wiley here. Got Robert Derringer. We got Donald Lurie. Who else we got here today? We got Colberto Wolf. We got Christian Andujar. What's up? Christian says, Jack, Steelers bring back Justin Fields and Russ. That Justin Fields package is very successful.
It's possible.
So it's possible, but here's the thing. I think if Justin wants a chance to start next year, and I think that's very probable.
It's not here.
And there's a team that will be willing to give him a chance to start next year, I think he's going to leave. I don't think he's going to come back and play second fiddle for Pittsburgh again if he can have a chance to start elsewhere. And, there's going to be a lot of teams looking for new quarterbacks next year. And, there might be teams that take quarterbacks in the first round. But, I mean, Justin Fields is still a very young player. He was 4-2 as the starter of the Steelers. I mean, there's still teams out there that, hey, maybe instead of taking a lottery ticket on a rookie quarterback, why not take a lottery ticket on Justin Fields? That's certainly a possibility. And honestly, I think that's probably the most likely scenario is that the Steelers probably keep Russ and then Justin Fields ends up going somewhere else. But hey, I would love to keep him. If he wants to come back and be the backup and you can keep that Justin Fields package here in the AFC North, that is a huge luxury that the Steelers have this season to be able to bring him out there on that 3rd and 4 situation to ice the game. And by the way, how about the Bengals just not
That's what I was going to say.
The Bengals not even having one person on Justin Fields during that final read option.
Justin Fields comes in the game's on the line. I wonder if he's going to be used as a running threat considering that's all he does.
Yeah, I wonder if we should have somebody accounted for Justin Fields in that kind of situation.
They did not account for him.
Apparently not. And Justin did his job. He apparently pulled it, and that was the game, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so if you guys want to give me a follow on X, you can find me at Jack_Sperry. I'm going to be putting out some Russell Wilson film analysis out on my Twitter account here either tonight or tomorrow. I thought he played phenomenal yesterday, Coop. We'll be breaking it all down. What's that?
You cut those clips up?
Not yet. I'm going to probably cut them up tonight, put them out on Twitter, all
Cassie,
that great
you don't
stuff.
have a boyfriend tonight.
Yeah. Sorry, Cass. We got Monday Night Football. Actually, I've got some personal business I got to take care of later tonight. I was telling you about that earlier. But let's get into our first segment today, guys. Click that thumbs up icon. First segment of the day, Victory Monday takeaways after beating the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 13. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today we got a bunch of great Steelers news and rumors to cover here on Victory Monday after the Steelers beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 13 to improve to 9-3. First up here, I'm going to be talking about Arthur Smith's genius shift that he made after the mini bye week that really unlocked the Pittsburgh Steelers offense versus the Bengals in Week 13. Then I'll go over the rest of my takeaways from Week 13 against the Bengals after watching the film this afternoon. And then also we'll finish up today's show by looking at the AFC playoff picture as well as the remaining schedule of the Steelers and kind of break down where the Steelers kind of fit in with the rest of the AFC heading down the home stretch. So, hey guys, if you love the Steelers, you love this football team, click that thumbs up icon. It helps out the show, helps the Steelers win, all that great stuff. So click that thumbs up icon to kick off today's show. So first up here, let's talk about Arthur Smith's genius move. And if you guys watched any of our videos last week, you know I was a little bit hard on Arthur Smith, not using his personnel correctly, really bad on early downs, not doing a good enough job in the red zone and on third down as well. And this week, Arthur Smith pivoted away from kind of his traditional run-heavy approach and really leaned in to Russell Wilson and the Steelers' passing attack. They threw it 38 times. That was more than any other game by far so far here during the 2024 season. And, you know, I think the reasoning for that is that the Steelers' run game, honestly, in terms of efficiency, especially on early downs, is not very good. Right now, they rank 28th in the league in average yards per carry. And I think Arthur Smith, you know, kind of took a hard look at his run game and said, you know what, this isn't a strength of this football team. But you know what was? Russell Wilson and the passing game. And honestly, guys, you look at the film, you look at the games, you look at the box scores. Russell Wilson is the best part of the Steelers offense right now, and he's completely changed the offensive culture here in Pittsburgh since he took over. Coop, those are actually flipped around. So Coop, you can just flip those around in post-production here. But you take a look here at the stats between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Throughout this season, they have both started 6 games at this point. You guys can see here that Russell Wilson is playing much, much better, 8 points more per game than Justin Fields. For those watching live right now, they're switched. They'll be fixed during the regular video here. But yards per game, huge increase, almost 100 more yards per game. That's both rushing and passing with Russell Wilson in there versus Justin Fields in the first 6 weeks. The yards per attempt has gone up exponentially to 8.7 yards per pass attempt, where it was just 6.8 for Justin Fields. They had the same amount of touchdowns, but remember, Justin was pretty much the only one scoring rushing touchdowns for the Steelers at that point in the season. And then the fumbles and interceptions combined, Justin Fields had 7 of those, 6 fumbles and 1 interception. Russ has had 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles. And right now, Russell Wilson has 8.7 yards per attempt. That is the best of his NFL career. So in terms of his efficiency, Russ has never been better, at least during this 6-game stretch, which granted is still a very kind of smaller sample size, all right? So he's obviously been a really good quarterback for a very long time, had a very tough stretch there in Denver. Even his final season in Seattle wasn't great, but he's having a career renaissance here in Pittsburgh. And the way that Arthur Smith is getting that out of him is that he's allowing him to cook. Now, what does that mean? That allows him to really be the main engine of the offense. And really what they're doing is they're using the short passing game as an extension of the run game on early downs. Before, Arthur Smith would just go outside zone run on first down, and defenses knew it was coming. But against Cincinnati, you could tell that defense had no idea what the Steelers were going to do. And when they were playing against the deep ball, we all know how great Russ's deep ball is. Russ would just dump it off to Najee or Jalen, and they would pick up 8-9 yards, and they'd pick up a first down. And it was just super efficient. It was a beautiful game plan brought on by Arthur Smith. And I thought it was a really kind of ballsy move because he's always been a run-heavy guy to change all of a sudden to a pass-heavy type of system, and it absolutely worked right away. Take a look here. 29 of Russ's 38 pass attempts yesterday went below 10 air yards. So that means that there was a lot of checkdowns. There was a lot of dumping it off. There was a lot of quick game to kind of replace the early down run game that just wasn't working for the Pittsburgh Steelers before. But hey, that doesn't mean that Russell Wilson wasn't doing a good job identifying when he had opportunities to throw it down the field. On throws 10 plus yards or air yards past the line of scrimmage, he was 8 for 9 on the day. So, I mean, the system kind of allowed Russ to kind of read the defense pre-snap and post-snap, identify what the defense was doing, and kind of just take what the defense was giving him. If they were playing back, taking away the deep pass, he would just dump it off to his check down or to a quick passing concept. Or if they were playing up, he would throw it down the field in the intermediate or to the deep parts of the field. And it was excellent, guys. And if you want to see the efficiency of Pittsburgh's offense against Cincinnati yesterday, only 4 of their 28 first downs came on third down. So they really avoided third downs entirely, where the Steelers offense has really lived in third down all season long. It was a huge shift from Arthur Smith, and it couldn't have worked any better. And I expect this offense to look like this probably for the rest of the 2024 season. And finally, the Pittsburgh Steelers, after long waits, after multiple terrible offensive coordinator hires, after multiple years of poor quarterback play, the Pittsburgh Steelers finally have a legit offense. This is the first time all season they have eclipsed the top 10 in scoring offense. They currently rank 10th when you include Justin Fields' numbers this year. But with Russell Wilson, this offense is scoring 28.6 points per game, which currently would rank 5th if it was for the entire season. So that's a top 5 offense when Russell Wilson is the quarterback of this football team this year. And if you want to say that this offense isn't good enough to win a Super Bowl, last time the Steelers won a Super Bowl back in the 2008-2009 season, they had the 20th ranked offense, and that was with Big Ben, Santonio Holmes, Hines Ward, and the like. So this is absolutely one of, if not the best offenses that we have seen in Pittsburgh in a very long time, and Russell Wilson is the orchestrator of this offensive attack since he has become the starting quarterback of this football team. And you just can't tell me at this point that the Steelers can't win a Super Bowl. Maybe you can say Kansas City or Buffalo have the higher chance to win, but you can't tell me that this Pittsburgh Steelers team that has beaten teams in a number of different ways with field goals, special teams, defense, offense. They have done it every which way this year. They can beat you in so many ways. They got a clutch quarterback that has been there. Russell Wilson is one of the 4 active quarterbacks in the NFL that has actually won a Super Bowl, and he's playing great football right now, so you can't tell me this Steelers team can't take it all this year. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. Russell Wilson is a top blank quarterback in the National Football League today. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know where Russell Wilson ranks among NFL teams. Now, before we get into the rest of today's show here, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And folks, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a Steelers football game at Acrisure Stadium live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch, especially this time of year, to be with your fellow Yinzers, waving your terrible towel in the cold elements. There's nothing like it, man, if you are a Pittsburgher, man. So go, you guys can download the Game Time app today. You can use their brand new feature called Game Time Picks to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All you have to do is go on the Game Time app, find an event you want to go see, select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters through every single one of their tickets for that event to find you the best prices with the best seats for the best deals for you and your family. And what I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. All-in pricing so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's just for that first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So now let's shift over to my takeaways after watching the film versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And we already went over the offensive shift that the Steelers went under Arthur Smith, shifting from a run-heavy offense to a pass-heavy offense. Now let's talk about the rest of the team here. First off, I'm going to talk about Joey Porter Jr. And yes, he has had a little bit of a struggle here, but I'm not worrying about the kid just yet. This guy has shown an ability to be a true lockdown number 1 corner in the National Football League on film throughout his first 2 years. Now, the last 4 games in the last month have been a rough stretch. He had a great game against the Baltimore Ravens, absolutely fantastic. But then the other 3 games, he got cooked by Terry McLaurin, got cooked by Jerry Jeudy in the snow, and then he did commit multiple penalties against a very physical opponent in T. Higgins. But I do believe Joey Porter Jr. is going to bounce back in the weeks to come. It's very difficult to go up against T. Higgins, a very physical receiver. As Mike Tomlin put it yesterday in his post-game press conference, T. Higgins is a goon, man. He likes to be physical with you, and you can't let him bully you. So there's certainly a fine line to be drawn there between being too physical and not physical enough. Joey Porter Jr. is a physical corner, and when he plays on the road, he's going to pick up some penalties, man. That just comes with the territory. I'm not worried about the long-term future of JPJ, and he is absolutely a cornerstone of this Steelers defense as we move forward in his young NFL career. Talking about some other cornerstones in this Steelers defense, TJ Watt and the second-year edge rusher out of Wisconsin, Nick Herbig, and their dominance turning the football over this season. All right, now people want to talk about how the Steelers pass rush hasn't generated as many sacks this year, and that is certainly true, but teams are getting rid of the football faster than they usually do against this unit because this unit absolutely gets it done, and they are afraid of TJ Watt and Nick Herbig getting these strip sack fumbles. Right now, when you look at the people that have forced the most fumbles in the National Football League, number one is TJ Watt, which is why he's still very much in the Defensive Player of the Year category here and in that conversation. And then second, it's Nick Herbig, who, by the way, has missed multiple games with a hamstring injury. Herbig's only played in 8 games, and he started the season as the third edge rusher on this team, and yet he ranks second in forced fumbles in the National Football League. He's had 1 in each of his last 3 games. The Steelers absolutely got another superstar at the edge rusher position, and his name is Nick Herbig, baby. Then we get to TJ Watt here, and he mentioned yesterday that the Steelers have approached him on moving around more in the formation, playing a little bit more inside, switching the sides that he plays on. He usually plays against the right tackle there at left end consistently, but they've approached him, and he has approached them saying, hey, when we go to our NASCAR package, when we do all these different things, when we go to more creative fronts, I think TJ is just willing to do whatever it takes to get less double teams, less chips, and to really give him more opportunities to get clean routes to the quarterback. And I think that, we started to see a little bit of that yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think we're going to see that package continue to grow for TJ as the season continues to go on, and it could be very dangerous. Fourth takeaway here, and the final one on defense. 4 defensive and 4 offensive takeaways for you guys today. This Pittsburgh defense is a turnover-making machine, man. It's been absolutely fantastic here over the last 3 games, where in each of those last 3 games, the Steelers have generated 3 turnovers in each of those last 3 games. So even in games where the defense has given up some yards like they were against the Cincinnati Bengals, you still have 2 strip sack fumbles, and then Cam Hayward gets his paw on a football, deflecting it right into the arms of Dante Jackson, creating those 3 turnovers, which ended up being the difference in the ball game. So this the strength of this Steelers defense is certainly on the defensive side of the ball, and it lies with turnovers. Then we get to the offensive side here, where I really loved the resiliency from the offense in the first half specifically, all right? Not only did you come back from that pick 6 on the first drive of the game, but you also trailed 3 separate times in the first half. Remember, after the Steelers tied it up initially, Cincinnati went on to score in their next 2 drives, taking the lead in both of those touchdown scenarios. And what did the Steelers do every time after that? Continued to score touchdowns and continued to answer the bell and show their resiliency, and that's going to serve them well when this team gets into January and hopefully February as well. Then we get to another offensive takeaway here, where Ben Skoranek, man, this guy kind of came out of nowhere. He was brought in after being released by both the Los Angeles Rams and the Houston Texans. He has been such a fit. And what he does so well is he is such a great blocker for this team, a team that really likes to do screens now on the early downs, like we talked about earlier with the passing game, all these different dump-offs. This guy is not an elite route runner. He is not a ball winner down the sideline or anything like that, but this guy will dig somebody up and make a block to allow a playmaker to have more space to work, and that is absolutely part of the Steelers offense right now. He was a big part of the game plan yesterday, and I expect to see more of him moving forward. And I think that, there's been a lot of discourse on Steelers Twitter lately talking about how Mike Williams wasn't a part of the game plan against the Bengals. It wasn't that he wasn't really on the field. He got on the field, about as much as he had throughout the season to this point, but it was just that the Bengals were playing shell coverage all the time, and they were taking away Russell Wilson's deep ball, and Russ was like, fine, I'm going to dump it off to somebody like Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Pat Freiermuth underneath, and they really took away Mike Williams deep, which is why you really didn't see him get the ball out that much. But make no mistake, it's 4 weeks now into his Steelers tenure, and he only has 1 catch. Now, granted, that 1 catch ended up being a game winner against the Washington Commanders, so that's certainly good. But if he's going to be worth that 5th-round pick that the Steelers traded away for him, he's going to have to get it going and get it going fast, especially with Calvin Austin III now dealing with a concussion. And then shifting now to the offensive line, 2 takeaways here. I think Dan Moore Jr. is definitely trending downwards, and I was certainly leaning towards giving DMJ another contract at the end of this year, midway through the year. But after the last 3 games, it just hasn't been as good. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Here's his overall PFF grades for the 2024 season. They're pretty decent. They're about middle of the pack for a starting offensive tackle in the National Football League. It's certainly not bad, but then you look at the last 3 games in his PFF grades against the Ravens, Browns, and Bengals respectively, and they're terrible, man. I mean, his best performance was against the Bengals, and you're only sitting at a 62.4. That is not what you want to see from somebody that you might potentially bring back in free agency next year when you have limited resources on your cap, especially when you're going to be paying a quarterback a lot more than what you're paying him right now. And I just don't think Dan, if he continues to play this way, is playing well enough to bring back on a big contract to be this team's starting left tackle moving forward. And I think that the Steelers might have to look at other options if Dan Moore Jr. doesn't turn it back around to finish this 2024 season. And a potential replacement for him at left tackle is the guy they drafted to be this team's franchise left tackle in Broderick Jones, who is now on the upswing. The beginning of this season for Broderick was absolute dog crap. He was terrible, all right, as producer Coop laughs at me as I say that. But Broderick is somebody that has been playing a little bit better as the weeks have gone on here. And I do think that there's some reason to believe that he could be a good player for this team moving forward. You look at the last 4 games for Broderick here, and you see all 4, or at least 3 of these, are better than any of the performances that Dan Moore Jr. has put on film. That game against Washington, really, really good. The last week against Cincinnati here yesterday was also pretty darn good on film, especially as a run blocker. He still needs to get a lot better in terms of his pass blocking, as you guys can see here in his team or his total here PFF grades for the season. It's not fantastic, right? He's certainly among the lower ranked and graded offensive tackles in the National Football League today, but he is getting better. And if I'm looking at somebody on the upswing that you spent a first-round draft pick on versus somebody in Dan Moore Jr. that seems to be on the downward trend heading into the next offseason here, if this continues to be the trend, I think Broderick Jones has got the inline road to be this team's left tackle in 2025. Now, before I go here, let's take some stock in where the Steelers are in the AFC playoff picture here in 2024, because we just got a couple weeks left. We're officially into the home stretch of this season. And right now, with Russell Wilson as their quarterback, this is where the Steelers rank in all the major offensive categories. They're currently top 5 in points per game, top 3 in yards per game. They're 12th in yards per attempt, 13th in third down percentage, and 8th in red zone percentage. So much for the narrative that this Steelers red zone offense is absolutely terrible. Guess what, man? They're doing a good job now, where they're now ranking 8th in red zone percentage with Russell Wilson at quarterback, and they've only given away the ball 5 times, which ranks 6th during the time Russell Wilson has been the quarterback. Then you look at the defensive stats, and you guys can still see just how good this defense is, especially when it comes to taking the ball away, like we talked about earlier. 25 takeaways, leads the National Football League with 9 in their last 3 games. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Still in the top 10 in points per game and yards per game allowed. So the Steelers are definitely doing a good job on the defensive side of the ball as well. Very balanced team here in Pittsburgh. Then you look at the AFC playoff picture here. You do have Kansas City, once again, weaseled out another game against the Las Vegas Raiders here, so they're 11-1. Then you got the Buffalo Bills sitting at 10-2, Steelers sitting at 9-3, with the Houston Texans sitting at 8-5 in the 4 seed. And it looks like we're starting to get a little bit of a solidifying here in the wild card in the AFC. It looks like Chargers, Ravens, and Broncos. Some combination of those 3 will most likely be the representatives as the wild cards in the AFC this year. And the remaining schedule here, sitting at 9-3, you got Cleveland next week at home. I feel really good about this team's chances of winning that one. Then you go to Philly in Week 15. That's going to be a real test to see if the Steelers can really be Super Bowl contenders this year. Also, you got Baltimore on the road right after playing a physical Eagles team. That's going to be a major test. Then you got Kansas City in Week 17 and Cincinnati at home in Week 18. So my final score prediction here, I think they're going to win 3 of their final 5. All right, that's where I'm at right now. I think they're going to finish the season 12-5. I think they lose 2 more games down the stretch, and 12-5 probably gets them in position to win the division this year, have a home playoff game, at least one this year, and put them in position to hopefully make a run towards a 7th Lombardi Trophy. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will the Steelers win the AFC North this year? Simply give me a yes or a no down there in the comment section. Right now, I'm definitely leaning yes, especially after the Ravens lost to the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday and the Steelers having a 1.5 game advantage at this point in the season. But let me know your prediction down there in the comments. I know today was a little bit of a longer one, guys, but hey, it's Victory Monday. We had a lot to talk about, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. Woo, Coop. That was a beast right there.
You had a lot to say there, man.
Had a lot to say. Did a lot of research.
Oh,
you know, going over the film earlier today. And
how late did you stay up last night?
I stayed up pretty late. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm usually up. You know, night games are the worst because I do all this research after the game and stuff after the game, so I'm up till like 3, 4 in the morning at least on a night game. But yesterday it wasn't that bad. But yeah, lots to talk about, and you know, there's lots of storylines heading into Browns week here, where we're gonna be looking for some revenge here.
I know you're taking this Browns week very, very seriously, and the Steelers need to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no question about it. Steelers will. I mean, they're pissed off about losing to the Browns.
They should
so make no mistake, they're pissed off. Mike T is gonna have these guys ready to go, and I'm excited for it. $5 super chat coming in from my man Gary Frank. Give it up for Gary in the chat. Says, I'd like to see a play with both Wilson and Fields on the field at the same time. Hand off to Fields.
I agree.
He can run or pass. Yeah, I don't
run a trick play with him.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. Especially if you have both of those guys on the field at the same time, the defense is gonna be like, what do we do? You know, they're gonna be like, I don't know what my responsibilities are gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
You have one lined up in shotgun and one lined up out wide, and you can like reverse.
Yeah, you could do reverses. You could do, and then you could throw it off of the reverse. You could do a lot of stuff with Justin Fields, man. Like I said, like we talked about earlier, I think you have him for a limited amount of time. I don't think you're going to be able to keep him next year just because the quarterback class in next year's draft sucks. So, I mean, I feel like Fields is probably going to go elsewhere next year. I hope he comes back, but I don't think that's the likely scenario.
At the same time, though, like, does he get a starting job?
I mean,
hard to envision.
Listen, man.
Hard to envision. Unless it's like some organization like the Raiders.
What I'm envisioning is that he gets a chance to compete for a job like he did in Pittsburgh this year.
Yeah.
And this year it wasn't really a competition. It was a Mike Tomlin competition.
Which isn't a competition.
Which isn't a competition at all. It's just, you know, trying to keep the media and the fans and other teams in the dark. But, you know, Fields is the type of guy where he did play a little bit better than what he was doing in Chicago at the beginning of the season. He was 4-2 as the starter. And, like, if there's a team that's like, man, we missed out on a quarterback this year, or man, like we might miss out on a quarterback this year in the draft, we want somebody that's going to be putting butts in seats and generate excitement, you know, and I could see a bunch of different teams, but I could see the Cleveland Browns maybe even doing it as well.
Well, I'll say this too. I think America saw over the last couple of weeks how much of a joke that Chicago Bears organization is.
Yes.
I mean, Jesus Christ, there's 33 seconds left and they have a timeout and they didn't call it.
Yeah, and you know where I'm at with Fields is I think he's a backup. You know, I don't love his mental processing. I don't love his footwork. I don't love his vision down the field. I don't love his touch. You know, a lot of the nuances of the position that, you know, go unnoticed by people that just watch the game and are just kind of casual fans. It goes unnoticed, but it's real and it's there. Like it's not just about size, and it's not just about how strong your arm is, and it's not just about how fast you are. Those things contribute, and those things are definitely important things. But they're not everything in the National Football League. I think Justin Fields is living proof of that. I think Justin is a high-end backup, kind of like low-end starter at this point in his career. And if you can get him back next year as your backup, that's huge, man.
Yeah.
Like we've been talking about, the Fields package is massive, especially in the AFC North, where you're going to be playing in the cold, you're going to be playing in the snow, and it's nice to have a guy that can run the football like Fields can, and give your team an even higher chance of winning the ball game.
You said it yourself, brother.
I said it.
Couldn't have said better.
All right.
Do we want to introduce our new people?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to put them on your cam?
No, go up on that camera. You guys are gonna look short, but
yes, you are. Okay, so we got 2 new people here that are shadowing our show here today, guys. Got some newbies, some fresh meat. I don't know if maybe that's not the right term there. Well, we got Jackson. Jackson was on the watch party yesterday. My man, he's wearing the Rams sweatshirt today.
He'll be converted before too long.
Yeah, he'll be converted to a true Yinzer here in due order. And then we've got Avery as well. Another one of our. Well, she's really short.
That's funny. She's not that short.
So she's not that short. Jack Sperry's just 6'6". That's what it is. All right. So Sam's over here. He wants to watch right here. Sam, you want to see this?
I wasn't going to fix the camera, Sam. Get over it.
Her head is just above the L3, and I'm not joking. Yeah, should we get the step still for you? All right.
No, we're good.
All right. Well, yeah, we're good. We're good now, guys. Thanks a lot. So spam those Averys, spam those Jacksons in the chat. Got some new members to the Chat Sports family here. And of course, Sam brings over the step stool in case.
Intern Sam is here.
Yeah, intern Sam helping us out over here. Yeah, just. Oh, gee, what are you doing, dude? You trying to cripple me? There's
Sam,
Bo Nix's.
Do you have a prediction for your team tonight?
Yeah, Broncos, Browns. What do you think, Sam?
Browns cover, under hits, Broncos win.
Browns cover, under hits, Broncos win. If I parlay that and lose money, I'm Venmo requesting you.
All right, man. That's good stuff. Appreciate you guys for showing your support in the chat. Oh, all right. So are we ready to go here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're ready to go. Let's do it.
All right, let's get into our second and final segment here of this Victory Monday edition of Steelers Talk Live. The 5 only quarterbacks that I can see being the Steelers QB1 in 2025.
Before we get started, you originally had 8 names.
I
had to cut it down.
I had 8, but then I realized that 6, 7, and 8 just were not going to happen, really. So I decided to make it 5. So let's get into it right now, guys. Most likely quarterbacks to be QB1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers next season. Today on Steelers Talk, I am ranking the only 5 quarterbacks that I think could realistically be QB1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Now, I know number 1 on the list is going to be one that a lot of people are probably expecting. But before we get into it today, make sure you guys go ahead and give me a follow on X at Jack_Sperry. Whenever the Steelers make a decision on what they do at quarterback next year, whether it's Russell Wilson, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's somebody else, I'm going to be instantly reacting to that on Twitter. I'm also going to be putting out a bunch of film on all these guys throughout the offseason, all that great stuff. I do a weekly Russell Wilson film study on my Twitter. You can follow me at Jack_Sperry for extensive Steelers content on there. Then also we have a Steelers Talk Instagram page. So if you're on Instagram, you want short form content from us here at Steelers Talk, you guys can find us at Steelers CS. So I'm just going to start here with the number 1 name on the list because this is the most obvious. This is the most likely by far, especially after that performance against the Cincinnati Bengals, especially the way the Steelers offense has performed since he's been in the lineup as QB1. Russell Wilson is number 1, and there's quite a bit of a gap between Russell Wilson and the rest of this list, in my opinion. And the reason for that is Russell Wilson is a perfect fit for what the Steelers are looking for right now. They want a veteran leader that can come up clutch in the fourth quarter. He's top 10 all-time in fourth quarter comebacks and game-winning drives in his career. And by the way, if you think that clutch factor's gone, he already has 2 potential game-winning touchdown passes this year in just 6 games, and he led the league in game-winning drives just last year with Denver. Okay, and the reason why it's a perfect fit, guys, is because you got the deep ball ability, you got the clutch ability, you got the ball protection. He's one of the best in all time in terms of interception percentage, top 10 all-time interception percentage in the league. So he takes care of the football. He's got the experience. He's seen every single defense. He can pick defenses apart. He knows when to go to his check down, knows when to go intermediate, and knows when to go deep. And I really do think that his skill set, his experience, everything he brings to the table is perfect for a Steelers team that is really in win-now mode. And they're trying to get Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, all these guys that have been with the team for a very long time, that much desired Super Bowl ring on their finger. And they hope that Russell Wilson is the guy that's going to be able to do that. But now the question is, after this season, what is it going to cost to bring Russell Wilson back? Because Russ has had a bit of a career renaissance to this point. And if he continues to put the production that he has put up through his first 6 starts, it's going to be very difficult to get him for a discounted price, right? And there's some people that are saying Russ could make up to $35 to $40 million per season on his next contract. And it could even get higher than that if he really wants to hunt one more big contract if he keeps playing this way. However, Russ has made it abundantly clear, going back to last offseason and the way that he talks about the Steelers now, his priority is winning. The words that he used on the I Am Athlete podcast with Brandon Marshall was, I want to feel the chill of the trophy. I want to have a legacy. All right, and I think that is certainly possible. We've seen guys like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady take a little bit less money per season in order to get more players around him. And I think Russell Wilson acknowledges that, the great talent that's around him right now has allowed him to really do a lot of good things this year in a Steelers uniform. And I think that he might be willing to take a little bit of a discount in order to keep this roster as good as it has been this year. And I think the ideal contract, I think this is probably the most that you can expect. I'd expected maybe more $60 million range over 2 years. But if you could get it down to $25 million per year, that's going to still give you a lot of room, about $50 million next year to use on other players in terms of free agency, in terms of trades, to really bolster this roster, get him another receiver, another weapon, something like that. Keep all of your defensive talent. Now it's going to be interesting to see what Russ does. He certainly doesn't need more money. I mean, he's made hundreds of millions of dollars in his own career, and then his wife Sierra is a global superstar. All right, so he's made more than enough money. He wants to feel the chill of the trophy, and I think because of that, he's going to stay in Pittsburgh and he's going to stay here on a discount. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comments section. What's the percent chance that Russell Wilson is this team's QB1 in 2025? Put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me. For me, I'm going to go 95+%. I think the only thing that really keeps him away from being this team's QB1 is injury. But let me know down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, put it on a scale of 0 to 100 for me. Number 2 quarterback on my list is Justin Fields. And in the way that I could see Justin coming in here and assuming the role as this team's QB1 heading into next offseason is if he just straight up gets another opportunity, whether that be Russ stinks, whether that be Russ gets injured, and then Fields comes in and takes it. And the Steelers were 4-2 with Fields at QB1. They obviously felt very comfortable with Justin Fields because they didn't rush Russell Wilson back from his injury when he suffered that injury before week 1. They allowed Justin to have his fair shot, and he played pretty decently, and the team played pretty decently when he was in there at quarterback. He wasn't without his faults, that's for sure. Russell Wilson has definitely been better, but Justin Fields still very talented, still very young, and the team was definitely winning football games, and this team in this locker room really does respect him. So I think there's 2 ways Justin Fields could become this team's QB1 before next season. Number 1, Russ really struggles down the stretch, and then Fields comes in and starts playing a little bit better towards the end of the season. The second way is that Russell Wilson gets hurt, God forbid, this year. Russ comes back in this season and balls out, maybe even wins a playoff game. And then at that point, I think you're going with the younger talent in Justin Fields if he's putting up similar to greater production than what Russell Wilson is doing right now. And I do think that Fields most likely is going to leave this offseason. And now I hope he doesn't. I love the luxury that the Steelers have to have that Fields package. Could do some really creative stuff with him with both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields on the field that we haven't seen so far this year, but hopefully we do down the stretch. But if he gets an opportunity to play somewhere else and start or at least compete for a starting job, and there's going to be a lot of openings at quarterback next year during the offseason, and he gets that opportunity, I think he's going to jump at the chance. Now, if he doesn't get that chance, I think he does come back here to Pittsburgh. Another year to learn under Russell Wilson. He gets an opportunity to play in the quote-unquote Justin Fields package. And I'm hoping that that's what ends up happening. But if I have to put money on it right now, I think a team does give him a shot to at least compete for a starting job, and he'll end up leaving Pittsburgh. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, external quarterback options. There's only 3 quarterbacks currently outside the Steelers organization that I think could be this team's QB1 in 2025. That is if Russell Wilson decides to leave. But we'll get into those here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game, live is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. If you guys haven't tried Game Time yet, and if you haven't tried Game Time Picks yet, it really does save you a bunch of time and money when you're searching for tickets for your next event. All you have to do is download the Game Time app, get into that app, find the event you want to go see, select the Game Time Picks button, and it automatically filters through their entire database of tickets for that event to find you the best prices, the best tickets, the best deals for you and your family. What I love about using the Game Time app is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the event. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. your first purchase. Terms do apply. It's just for that first purchase, guys. Again, create an account and redeem code ChatSports for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Now, I don't want this to happen. I want to preface this by saying this, but Aaron Rodgers, I do think, out of all the outside options, for future Hall of Fame quarterback, leaving an organization that it didn't work out in, like we've seen this formula before. All right, the Steelers did this just this year with Russell Wilson, right? And I feel like the Steelers, maybe in their hubris a little bit, would think that they could fix Aaron Rodgers the same way that they fixed Russell Wilson this year. Now, I'll give my reasons for why I'm skeptical of that here in just a second, but I do think out of the outside options, Aaron Rodgers might be the guy that they turn to if Russell Wilson decides to go elsewhere this offseason. Now, Rodgers will be 41 years old next year. All right, that's pretty freaking old. All right, and he's showing that age this year in New York. He's played in West Coast offenses in his entire career. Arthur Smith comes from that West Coast school of offense. And then, if Russell Wilson wants like $40-45 million a year wherever he goes next and the Steelers don't want to pay that, Rodgers would likely come much cheaper than that given the way he's played in New York. And Rodgers might have something to prove, might take a lower contract to come to Pittsburgh. But like I said, guys, I don't want this to happen. I don't care how cool Aaron Rodgers looks like in the color rush jersey here in Pittsburgh. I don't think he'd look cool throwing the football for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Plain and simply, just like he's not looking very cool throwing the ball for the New York Jets. Here's why I'm not very in favor of getting Aaron Rodgers. Number one, a lack of mobility. All right, he's 41 years old and he's coming off a recent Achilles tear. He has completely lost the ability to move outside of the pocket. All right, he still has some of that pocket mobility and a little bit of that pocket presence, but certainly not at the level that it used to be. And he used to make a big part of his living outside of the pocket, throwing on the run, doing all these things outside of the pocket and being a playmaker. That's no longer a part of his game. Number two, the accuracy has dropped off big time. His lower body mechanics are not what they used to be. All right, I don't think he trusts his lower body to keep himself safe, and that's definitely showing up in his accuracy. Upper body mechanics is still as good as ever, but the lower body is definitely not as good. Then you look at the chemistry, and Aaron Rodgers has always been somebody that needs chemistry with his receivers. This is why the narrative around rookie receivers never being good in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was there was so prevalent, because it takes 2-3 years to build legitimate chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. And at this point, if he's going to a new spot, he has no chemistry with any of the receivers here in Pittsburgh, unless they bring in like a Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, and they really get the old band together again, which I'm not in favor of, by the way. It's just not going to work at all. And also, it's an extremely short-term solution. You probably get 1 year, 2 years max out of Aaron Rodgers, and then you're looking for another opportunity elsewhere. With Russell Wilson right now, if you bring him back, he says he wants to play another 5-6 years in the league. Now, can his body hold up that long? I guess time will tell. But at least with Russell Wilson, you might get a little bit more tread on the tires than Aaron Rodgers. Number four, if the Steelers need to go and get a different quarterback outside of the building, Sam Darnold would probably be my preferred choice. I think he's playing some really good football right now in Minnesota. The last 3 games, 6 touchdowns to no interceptions, 3-0 during that time. And, Darnold has had his moments of not playing good football, putting the ball in harm's way. Generally, he's done a really good job slicing and dicing defenses, especially over the middle of the field. Now, does he benefit from Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson? 100%. But he's also done a lot of good stuff in his own right. He's still only going to be 28 years old next season, so he's still got a lot of tread on the tires. And then, like I said, if Russ drops off at the end of the year this year and, you want the more younger option, I would probably rather have Darnold than even Justin Fields at this point in their respective careers. Take a look at how Darnold has played so far this year. Very good. Very, very solid. 67.8% completion percentage, almost 250 yards per game with 23 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. And by the way, like I said, 6 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in his last 3. So he's getting better as the season goes on. Then you get Spotrac here that projects that he's going to make about a 4-year, $32.4 million per year contract next offseason. Now, with the scarcity of free agent quarterbacks next year, I think that price is actually going to go up. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he makes somewhere between $35 and $40 million, especially if he wins a playoff game there in Minnesota. So this is going to be a little bit more of an expensive option. But if you can't bring back Russell Wilson next year, Sam Darnold might be a little bit more of the pricier option, but it's the one that I would make. Then number 5, though, this is really not one I want to make, but, I could see the connection here. It was a connection last offseason. It would be another connection this year. Kirk Cousins at number 5. And the reason why he's number 5 on this list is because I think he's shot. I think he's got a noodle arm. He reminds me a lot of Matt Ryan towards the end of his career. He's going to be 37 next year. He's coming off a recent Achilles injury as well, so he has literally no mobility. Then, he has played in the West Coast offenses in his career, so maybe Arthur Smith would advocate for him, if they had to go out and get a different quarterback. But Atlanta drafted Michael Penix Jr. in the top 10 of last year's NFL draft. Kirk Cousins has not played well lately. We talked about Darnold having 6 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. With Kirk Cousins, flip it around. Last 3 games, 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, including 4 interceptions in his last game this past week against the Los Angeles Chargers. And I do think that Kirk's days in Atlanta are super numbered with Michael Penix Jr. waiting in the wings. I wouldn't be surprised if they make that move to Michael Penix, despite the fact that Atlanta is in the middle of the NFC South divisional race right now. It's that bad for Kirk Cousins. You look at his numbers here, 67.4% completion percentage, over 250 yards per game, 17 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. But as we've talked about, guys, 6 of those 13 interceptions are just in the last 3 games. He has gotten worse as the season has gone on. And I want a quarterback that's at his best come playoff time, not somebody that loses gas at the end of the year. Steelers fans know that well with an older Big Ben running out of gas towards the end of seasons. And I really don't think Kirk Cousins would be that guy that could lead you to a Super Bowl. He's never been that guy that's had playoff success. And I don't think that he would have that here in Pittsburgh. And as we know, people give Mike Tomlin shit all the time for not winning the playoffs. Kirk is one of those guys that hasn't won the playoffs either. So I think his arm is shot. He doesn't have a good track record in the postseason. And I think the age is definitely catching up with him. I wouldn't want to bring him back, especially if you trade for him, because you look at the upcoming cap hits. If you trade for him here, $27.5 million in 2025, not bad, but then it really balloons up to $45 million per season in 26 and 27. So the only way I think the Steelers really think about it is if Atlanta cuts him, which would they do that? I don't know. There's a reason why Kirk Cousins is number 5 on this list and not number 3. But certainly an option out there, even if I think it's the less likely option for the Steelers. And if you want to trade for him, 5th round pick, maybe, for a guy that's declining like him. He is an established starter. He still has really good mental processing. He still plays with great anticipation. He knows what he's looking at when he's looking at an NFL defense, but he just doesn't have the arm to rifle it in there anymore, and that limits the kind of throws that he can make on a week-to-week basis, especially as you get further on down the season. And for a win-now Steelers team, I just don't see Kirk Cousins being the best option for this squad. So pick a quarterback for me down there in the comments section. If Russell Wilson and Justin Fields decide to go elsewhere, what quarterback outside of the organization would you pick? Type AR for Aaron Rodgers, SD for Sam Darnold, or KC for Kirk Cousins. But Jack, what about drafting a quarterback? How about we draft somebody for the future if Justin Fields is going to go somewhere else? Well, listen, man, I'm not opposed to drafting a quarterback to see if you have something there with an aging Russell Wilson most likely being your quarterback moving forward. But I'm going to say this right now. Do not take a quarterback in round 1. You're not going to be in position to take one, and to move up for these guys, I just don't think it's worth the price tag. I have my worries about both Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders, the 2 guys that I think are bona fide first-rounders at this point, and I personally would rather just go another year with Russ and then take somebody on day 2 or 3 if you really want a quarterback to develop for the future. And there are some guys that I would take a look at on day 2 or day 3. Drew Aller from Penn State, he's very raw. He needs time on the bench to sit and learn, but nobody denies he's got the arm talent. He's got the arm to cut through the wind and the cold here in the AFC North, and obviously he played his college ball there in Pennsylvania, so Steelers fans will be well aware of him. Then you got Jalen Milroe, who's kind of got the Justin Fields kind of skill set where he's big, he's got the strong arm, and he can run the football. So Jalen Milroe, I think, will be more of a day 2 quarterback, not a day 1 quarterback. I'm looking at you, PFF. Take him off number 12 on your big board, by the way. He's not that good of a QB. You got Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU that has pewed good ball at certain points during this season, and Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers would really not like either one of those guys. Coop said I'm an idiot for putting for Ewers behind Carson Beck. But honestly, they're the same guy, all right? They're the same guy. They're both frauds. I don't like either of them. But, if you wanted to spend a 4th-round draft pick on one of them, I wouldn't be completely against that. So you be the GM. Let me know down there in the comments section, which QB, if any, would you take in the middle rounds of the NFL draft next year to sit behind and learn from Russell Wilson? For me personally, my pick is Drew Aller in the 3rd round would be great, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got a bunch of great Steelers content coming your way all throughout Browns Week here on Steelers Talk. All right, Coop. So
I guess we'll find out on Saturday who's ranked higher, won't we?
well, I mean, it's a team game, but yes, we will see who comes up big. You got to say, though, Carson back down against Georgia Tech there. He made some nice throws down the stretch there to keep him alive,
nice
and then in
throws.
overtime.
I think Georgia Tech also extremely sold in that game.
That's fair.
But
That is fair.
no, Beck did make some decent plays.
But you've watched Quinn this season. He is in Sark's offense.
He
with
is.
that offensive line, with the weapons that they have at Texas.
got a lot
and
going for
and
him.
he stinks. He stinks.
He does not stink.
He stinks.
He
All right.
doesn't
In terms of evaluating a quarterback for what you look for in an NFL guy, he stinks.
I don't need him to be an NFL quarterback. I need him to win the next 5 games.
Well,
That's all I need.
that's fair enough. For you, all you have to do is win 5 games.
That's
right?
all I need.
For me, as a Steelers fan, keep him away.
If
All right.
he-
Fourth round pick, fine. Take
If he,
Quinn
if he
Ewers.
wins the next 5 games, I don't care what he does for the rest of his life. He could go. I
Yeah,
was
he
about
could-
to
he-
say he could go Aaron Hernandez. I'm not going to.
Whoa, yeah. There's a line
I'm not
there
gonna
that
say
needs to be
that,
drawn. But I get what you mean. You know, he's going to be a personal hero of yours if he wins a national championship for the Longhorns.
You are right, though. I mean, Quinn has. I feel like he has the arm talent, but it's something up here that doesn't work, and his footwork not good.
Footwork's bad, and honestly, I think his arm talent is overrated. It's a good enough arm to play in the league. It's not special like some people think it is.
He can sling the rock.
No, I disagree. You know, we're talking about guys that can sling it. Patrick Mahomes, prime Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. You think he's on that level?
No, that's different. Those guys are Hall of Fame arm talents. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer.
You're an idiot. I love you, man, but sometimes you got those orange-colored glasses on.
I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm saying
I know
he
you're
can
not.
be a
I know you're
solid
not. But I'm
quarterback
just
in the NFL.
saying. Carson
be a
back
solid quarterback
slightly
in the league.
above.
We'll find out.
I think they're both busts, by the way. I don't think either of them's going to be good. But got Brian03 with a $2 super chat says, could the Steelers sign T. Higgins as a free agent? Yes, they could.
Could they?
Yeah, they might have to trade a defensive player to make it work.
They would have to trade somebody to make room for him. Look, I think T is a great fit for this team.
If you keep Russell Wilson, he is a phenomenal fit for this team.
But I also think signing T. Higgins means you are not going to give George Pickens a long-term contract.
And honestly, I'm okay with that.
No, me too.
I trust T. Higgins in terms of his behavior way more than George Pickens.
I also feel like T. Higgins just feels like a Patriot to me.
They're gonna be going hard in the paint for T. Higgins. They're gonna offer him a shitload of money, and the Steelers are gonna say, "All right, we got the smaller shitload for you, but do you want to go win? All right, do you want to go play for the Patriots and maybe Drake May works out, maybe he doesn't, or do you want to play for an established winner? And by the way, play the team that refused to pay you for 2 years twice."
No, I think if the deals are even, I think the Steelers would have a hell of a chance.
Yeah,
The Patriots,
but you're right. I think the Patriots are just gonna throw.
they're going to throw
whatever
bag
it
at
takes to get him.
even if it's not even worth the money he's getting. I can see that.
And you know he's a great talent. As Mike Tomlin says, he's a goon. You know he's so physical at the catch point.
Yeah, he is.
Where it's like if you're not physical back with him, you're gonna lose. All right,
Absolutely.
so that's why I'm not super worried about JPJ getting handsy because he had to be in order to have a shot.
By the way,
against him.
Dante played a hell of a game.
Yeah, he had one play when I watched the film where he got beat off the ball from Jamar. It was the touchdown that Burrow throw, the crazy throw that he had where he's the jump throw. Dante just gave up after Jamar just cooked him at the line. But that was the one play where I was like, you know what? That was a bad play.
Yeah.
He played very, very well against Jamar Chase for a number 2 cornerback. Gary Frank is back with a $5 super chat. Says best fit Russell Wilson, 2 years, $45 million. I hate to break it to you, Gary.
I'm not getting him for that.
I think 50 is the discount.
Oh, that's like the bare minimum he'd take. I think.
By the way, $25 million per year. Just to put it in perspective, that's the 19th most money annual value of quarterbacks in the National Football League. Like Russell Wilson.
Realistically, I think you're looking at 2 for 60.
Yeah, I think the more likely one is 2 for $60 million. And by the way, that's worth it. I mean, this offense is top 5 in points per game since he's taken over at
100%.
quarterback. And he is the main reason for that. It's not like the run game is just amazing and Russell Wilson is getting carried by the rest of this offense. He is the reason why the offense is good. So if I had to pay $30 million a year for a quarterback like that, I said it when the Bucs got Baker for $30 million per season. like, it's a steal. You know, a good quarterback at that price tag is worth it, in my opinion.
Another one from Gary.
Gary, what's up, my man? Says 3 wins out of the next 5 have. Who do we lose to? So we can take a look at the remaining schedule here, Gary. I think they beat Cleveland. I think they lose to Philly. I think they beat Baltimore. I think they beat Cincinnati to finish the season. I think they'll lose.
So no Christmas joy is what you're saying?
But like the reason why I specifically didn't give a specific prediction is because I could easily see them beating Kansas City on Christmas. Like Kansas City nearly lost to the freaking Raiders at home on Black Friday. You're telling me the Steelers, who also play really, really good football when things are close, can't beat Kansas City? Of course they can. So it's even possible they win 4 out of the last 5. I don't think they're going to run the table because there's just too many tough games to win all of them, in my opinion. But, 3 wins, 4 wins, that's going to get you to 12, 13 wins right there, and it's going to get you to the division, plain simply.
We're running the table. We're going 14-3, and we're going to get the bye from Kansas City because we're going to have the tiebreaker.
All right, I love the plan right there, my man.
Yep.
Hell, even if you get to 13 wins and you beat Kansas City, you'll have a shot.
Yeah.
Like Kansas City will have to lose some games here, but you'll have a shot if you beat Kansas City, win 4 of your last 5, get to 13. I'm fine with 12-5 though, man. I'm fine with it. Get a home playoff game, and then you go from there. That's where I'm at. Anything to say? No? Okay. All right. That's going to be it for today's show, guys, unless we get a super chat here in the next 30 seconds. Before we go here, Coop, let's talk a little bit about Monday Night Football. Got Browns and Broncos tonight. I got the Broncos winning. My mistake. I think Bo Nix plays pretty decently. I think the defense does their thing against Jameis. And I don't know what my score prediction would be. Let's say 27-13 Broncos win. How about that?
27-13. Yeah, I like that. The Browns just stink. I can't believe the Steelers lost to them. I'm going to go Bo Nix and the Broncos 24, Browns 10.
Okay. Yep, I like it. All right. Hopefully Browns lose today. Hopefully they lose on Sunday as well. It's going to be a fun watch party, man, because our Browns host was talking some mad shit after they beat us on Thursday Night Football. I can't wait to get the final word in this rivalry this year, man. Cannot wait for Sunday. We'll see you guys on Thursday here. We'll have our preview for Steelers versus Browns most likely on Thursday as well. So make sure you guys join us either 5 or 5:30, whatever it is. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what time we go live on Thursday, but we'll be back on Thursday with more Steelers coverage for you guys live here on Steelers Talk. We just got another $5 super chat before we say goodbye here. Gary coming in with his 4th 5 of the day, so $20 from Gary today. And he says,
what's up, intern Triz?
It's give unsaid 20 straight winning seasons. Yeah, man. I mean, the Steelers they have been the epitome, especially in a league designed for parity. I mean, they have been the epitome of a consistent football team, even more than the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots were more of a dynasty than the Steelers have been during this time period, but the Steelers have had winning seasons during pretty much the entire duration of the Patriots dynasty. And and with the Patriots, they've had one specific time in their history where they have been all-time great. They're the best head coach in history and the best quarterback in history. The Steelers have had this kind of level of consistency since the 1970s. All right, it's kind of crazy how stable this organization is. And by the way, out of the 3 coaches that this team has had since the merger, there's one coach that has the best winning record, a win percentage there. Coop, you want to guess which coach that is?
Since the merger?
Since the merger. You've had 3 head coaches. All 3 of them, 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame. One's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. Which one has the best win percentage?
I think Tomlin does.
Tomlin has the best win percentage. And every time this team loses, this fan base explodes on Twitter saying that we have to fire his ass. Like, I love our community, guys. I love this fan base, but holy cow, are we spoiled with head coaches. I mean, seriously. I mean, 9-3, he one more win away from yet another double-digit win season. I mean, I can't remember how many double-digit win seasons he has now, but I think it's in the double digits. I think he has 10 double-digit win seasons in 18 years as a head coach. I mean, that's just a great number right there, Coop.
Nice.
Nice. All right, so Gary, appreciate you, my friend. We'll see you guys on Thursday, and until next time, enjoy Monday Night Football tonight. We'll see you guys later.
Adios.
And until next time, here we go, Steelers.